This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I am Ramsey, a personality, Rachel Cruz, hosting today with Dr. John Deloney. And it's a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225. So we'll talk about your marriage, your money, your life, your relationships, anything and everything. Just give us a call. Up first is Doug from Boise. Hey, Doug. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Rachel. Thank you for taking my call today. How are you?
We're doing well. Thanks so much. How can we help?
So I think I kind of have a bit of an issue on baby step 2. I feel like I'm just on a debt treadmill where the process is just never ending. And it seems like no matter what I do to get out of it, I always kind of just slump right back into it. And I think it might be something psychological that I just can't quite figure out. And I was curious to see if you'd be able to help me with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so give me a little bit of background. Like how much debt you have left? What's been your journey? What's caused you to go back in?
I mean, it's always just a really small amount of credit card debt. I don't have any student loans. I don't have any car payments or anything like that. And every once in a while, I'll find myself getting into a hole of about $3,000 to $4,000 in credit cards. And I sit there and tell myself, you got to be kidding me. I can't keep doing this. You know, if I want to make it through this and make it through the baby steps, I think this is kind of just where I'm having my issue.
What's causing you to swipe the credit cards? Is it emergencies that happen? Is it impulse purchases? What's the thing that's driving that $3,000 to $4,000 in credit card debt constantly?
I think it might be impulses and things that I tell myself could be emergencies that aren't emergencies. If I go out and I'm doing something and, you know, buying something that I shouldn't, or saying, hey, there's these new shoes, they're really cool, I need those. So I just think it's a lot of impulses and a lot of things like that that's causing that.
So I want you to, would you be willing to try something new?
Of course.
Okay. 2 things I want you to try new. One, I want you to look at this not as you're a loser and a failure and an idiot, but I want you to look at this as an environmental issue. Okay? Is that cool?
Yeah.
Because
cool.
You're in a system now that you've created for yourself. You've just created a loop for yourself where you do this thing and then you feel like crap about it, and then you white knuckle your way through it for a minute, and then you feel a little bit better, and then you go do it again and the whole loop starts over again, right? You're just like on one of these like kids like train tracks. So let's stop beating up on Doug, number 1. Number 2, change your environment. Get rid of all of your cards. Cancel Amazon Prime. Make it almost freaking impossible for you to do this. So for me, I am a raging sugar addict. Comically so. Like, my friends make fun of me. It's ridiculous. My kids make fun of me.
It's like gummy. It's gross stuff.
It's not even good. Yeah,
it's not even like a Snickers. It's like,
or like an
Sour Patch Kid.
Pie. Yeah, it's just gross. It's like a main line. Yes. I may have snorted sugar before.
Oh my gosh.
So listen. I have to have a home that doesn't have any of that in it. And my wife, like when I'm out of town, my wife and kids, they go get ice cream, and it's like it's an enjoyable time for them. I had to create an environment where I don't even have access to it, which then gave me time to let that addiction simmer and stop, and then I can re-enter the world. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
And what I would tell you is, until you're ready to change the environment, you're not ready to stop spending and to truly get out of debt.
And those are the two, like those first 2 things, Doug, like what John is saying is spot on. And then even when you're out of it and you're kind of in a better habit of, okay, I'm not going into debt for this stuff because I don't even have the ability to. I have no credit cards. I'm not beating myself up. But then go into the practice, because even when you become healthier with money, I think still asking the question, why am I wanting to spend this money?
That's right.
What is it? Is it because it's going to make me feel good in the moment because I'm sad or I'm depressed or I'm discouraged or I'm bored, or is it because I feel bad about myself and this thing's going to make me feel better because I'll get compliments from it? Like find that root too, because again, buying stuff is not the issue. It's why you're doing it is kind of that underneath, Doug, is what John's kind of getting at as well. So,
and I have found working with people who struggle with addiction, let me just talk about myself. I can't make that change in that environment.
Yes.
I can't be surrounded by bags of marshmallows and gummy candies as I'm shoveling them in, going, I wonder why I'm doing that.
Yep.
I need to have a clear slate. So then when I feel the impulse, I can then stop and say, what am I hiding from here? What is my body trying to protect me from? Right.
Yep.
And that's the same with alcohol and pornography, all the things, right? Spending here. I love that. Clear the deck and then begin to feel your body and begin to ask, why am I leaning into this? Why am I trying to cover something up? What is it I'm trying to cover up?
Yeah, and just the spending in general in life in our country today is so normal. Consumerism is like at an all-time high. And so what are the things, even if you're someone listening and you're not Doug and you're like, oh, I'm not going deep in credit card debt, there are still things that I even put in place as a natural spender. I know myself. And even on baby step 7, even though we may even have it in the budget, I still feel convicted at times of like, why am I really doing it? Like, why am I spending this? And so I unsubscribe from emails all the time. I'll go back through because sugar's your thing, clothes are mine. I love shopping. It's just my thing. But I'll go through and I'm like, okay, I'm going to unsubscribe from all these emails because every time there's a sale, anytime there's anything, it pops up in my Gmail account. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there it is. I never would have known that existed on Instagram. I unfollow people, not because they're terrible and evil, but for me, I'm like, everything that she posts, I want. And I'm like, you know what? Just
and it's just
stop.
a click away. It's just a click away.
And then I never save passwords. I never try to save my debit card information website.
Me too. I have to relog in.
Yes.
Start from scratch every time.
Because then you're like, I got to go find the car. And it gives this friction in our purchasing as well, which I think is huge. Again, whether you're like Doug and you're like, oh my gosh, I just seem to keep going into it. But even if you're not, I think it's just a good practice to slow down and ask the questions, okay, why am I needing this? Why do I feel like I want to buy it?
And you touched on something important. The companies don't make things convenient because they're your friend. They make it convenient because you're more likely just to stumble in and hit buy now. So again, I'm the same as you. I have to set the 4th of July thing came through in this like the 24-hour flash sale, and I was with a buddy in the middle of nowhere, and he's like, "Oh, I got to get online." It was so annoying having to re-log in and learn a new thing and punch it. But I have to set those breaks for myself. Otherwise, I'm just buying this bag and buying this thing, and I need this new whatever. And it just gets out of control for me.
Yeah. Are you a more natural saver or spender?
Oh, my gosh.
Spender.
Oh.
Why did I ask that? That was a moment where I knew
Direct
the answer.
deposit actually helped me because I would go to the bank and cash my check, and it would never make it home. So actually, by my company sending my check directly to the bank,
it's in there.
They take me out of the equation.
Yeah.
It actually helps me out. Yeah.
Oh, so good. All right.
I love spending.
Absolutely. Again, free call anywhere in the country, 888-825-5225, here to talk about your life and your money. This is The Ramsey Show.
Chaos. That's what it can feel like when your business is growing so fast you've outgrown your financial and accounting software. The faster you grow, the more likely you are to lose control of the numbers. And here's the reality. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. That's why we use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. Over 28,000 companies use NetSuite by Oracle, including Ramsey Solutions, because NetSuite gives us a single view of everything we need to make daily decisions. Whether you're making a few million to hundreds of millions a year, NetSuite gives you the visibility and control of the things you need to grow, like your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more, all in one dashboard. Go to netsuite.com/Ramsey right now to get their free white paper. Jumpstart your CFO career.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I am Rachel Cruz, hosting today with Dr. John Deloney. All right, Justin is up next in Denver. Hey, Justin, welcome to the show.
Hi, Rachel. Hi, John. Read both of your books. Loved them.
Oh, thanks so much. Well, thanks for calling.
Yep.
How can we help?
My wife and I are in baby step 2. We paid off $40,000 in the last 5 months.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. We're celebrating our 4-year anniversary next week. And just this morning, my wife told me that her father had told us that he was forgiving the $7,000 balance of a $10,000 family loan that they loaned us prior to our marriage.
That's generous.
And they live close by and they come over often. And I fear that in the future, once they forgive this debt, if I continue on, they will. I just fear facing them.
Do you fear facing them like ego-wise, or is this loan forgiveness come with strings? Federal government
No, my wife says and swears up and down that they are not like that, and I believe her.
Okay.
And she's on board with me. She hates owing anybody any money. This is our last debt before we move on to baby step 3, and I just can't bring myself to feel right about the forgiveness.
Why not?
Well, the original family loan was for her to pay for her lawyer fees. Her ex-husband and her daughter, per the divorce agreement or whatever, were supposed to stay in the same county as her husband for visitation or whatever. And she wanted to move in with me prior to us getting married, and that created a family law court case, which she needed a lawyer for. So from my perspective, I saw her parents as taking a bet on me when her biological father would not do that. They bet on our relationship. It's been a very rocky marriage, just because of the ends of the spectrum that both of us fall on. She's a mental health counselor. I'm retired Army. So they're betting on our marriage from my point of view. And it just pains me to have this debt forgiven.
Let me reframe this. Let me reframe this. I don't think anybody's betting on anybody. Sounds like a mom and dad who love their daughter. And it sounds like a mom and dad who love their daughter and trust you. There's nobody's gambling on anything here. And so, and your marriage, by the way, isn't been rocky because you're in the Army and she's a mental health counselor. It's because it's just been rocky. Make some different choices. You know what I mean? Like, don't over dramatize this. It sounds a lot like you don't like the ego of this. This is about your ego. That's what it sounds like. And if I'm you, I would walk over to his house or drive over there, and I'd knock on his door, and I'd stick my hand out and shake his hand, if not hug him and say thank you. And then when you are on more secure financial footing and you feel compelled to pay the $7,000 back and you're in a position to do so, then go do it at that point and let some space happen between there. Or if suddenly he's holding this over your head and weaponizing it, then go take out a loan at a credit union and give him his money back. But this sounds a lot like ego, man. And this isn't the moment for ego. This is a moment to say, thank you, I'm grateful. But you've created a conflict. Like, they're betting on this, and I'm... Dude, just say thank you, man. And then be about making your marriage stronger.
Yeah, and Justin, is there patterns with your relationship with them that's causing you to get here? Because at this point, I feel like you said that it's been a pretty good relationship with them, and you haven't seen anything. But have you... deep down, is there something that you're like, oh God, they've made that comment that's helped you write this story? Or is it just feels so you just kind of can't believe, oh my gosh, that this debt, he's going to just forgive it. And then you kind of start rattling around in your head with it.
I'm not really sure what's going on with that. I know that, over the last 9-10 months now, I've had a lot of shame in my life. I quit drinking 10 months ago, and
good for you.
So there's a lot of shame. I destroyed some relationships, and The worst one was trust with my wife, and I'm trying to rebuild those relationships. And it seems like my life is closing in on me. I'm getting the help that I need.
Excellent. So let me tell you something that's counterintuitive to the space you're in. The space you're in, especially with your training, is that you are going to grab control. I'm going to, quote unquote, solve this. I screwed something up, fix it, right? That's the mentality. And there is some truth to that. You've got to do right by your wife. You've got to repair that relationship. And that comes with doing different things. But globally speaking, grabbing the wheel tighter is not going to stop the spin of this thing. It's releasing that. And what that looks like is going to somebody's house and saying, thank you. The word that nobody likes to use is vulnerability. And that's the only path forward for you. And vulnerability for a veteran is counterintuitive. I'm rolling. You could hurt me right now. And I'm going to go anyway. Because you're my wife. Because you're my in-laws. You're my family now. And I'm going to trust that you won't hurt me. And I'm going to say thank you. And I'm going to go on to being a good man. Is that fair?
Yes.
Thank you
very much.
But listen, brother, I want you to look at this not as, like I told the previous caller, this isn't some kind of moral failure. This is a set of skills you don't have, and you got to learn some new skills, and you got to practice them. Is that cool?
Yes.
So practice accepting help. Practice saying thank you. And then practice saying, I'm sorry. How can we make this right?
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yes.
Go make your marriage good, man. You're worth that.
It's good, Justin.
Appreciate you, man.
And that's a lot of courage.
It's a bold call, man. It's a brave guy.
I really appreciate you calling, Justin. There's a level in all of this, right, in our lives, whether it's within our marriage, within our money, anything new, even accepting a gift, right? All of it. To your point, I'm like, when you don't have the practice and the skills, it is so uncomfortable and it is so scary. But continuing to step into it and continuing to take a step, it takes courage, a different level of courage than I feel like our world talks about.
Well, it's relational courage, which is like if Suzanne fires me, she takes my job from me, right? But my identity's with my wife and kids, whatever. If I lose that, then I've got that's a long road, right? I don't know who I am. I'm untethered to everything, right? And so there's something incredibly courageous about leaning into someone that you love and care about, who is part of you, which is your wife, your husband, your spouse, your kids, and saying, I'm sorry. Thank you. How do I do this right? Like we don't have a culture that just says, I'm sorry. How do I make this right? We have one that says, fix it. And when we fix it, we try to grab control of it.
Yes.
And sometimes you got to do the opposite of what your training is.
Yeah. Which is so scary. And that's the vulnerable piece when you're not used to that. And it's like, okay, I really am. I'm going to let go of the wheel in a sense.
And other people who have spent their whole lives with their hands off the wheel, equally courageous, you've got to grab the wheel. Like you've got to take some control here, right? And so some people are listening, going like, okay, I should like you got to know you, and everybody's situation is different. It's doing here's the thing: look at the pattern of behavior in your life. Look back and say, is this working? This is year 4, and my marriage is still a mess. Me getting angry every time this, or me going to watch Netflix every time, or grabbing another drink every time, that's not working. Let's try something else. Do the courageous thing that makes your body uncomfortable, because that usually is the right thing.
Yeah,
right?
Trying something new.
The next hard thing.
That's so good. Well, thanks again, Justin, for calling.
It's awesome.
This is The Ramsey Show.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm Rachel Cruz with Dr. John Deloney. And obviously there's things said on the show that people don't agree with and that are controversial in how you live life. And we kind of talk about common sense. And
we could sit here and talk about the color of the sky and the leaves, and we would be like,
that's not true.
That's your
That's
view.
not true. That's your truth.
You guys liberal garbage.
Oh my gosh.
The sky's orange, idiot.
So the basis, if you're new to this show, I mean, honestly, like the most foundational principles, it's common sense, it's biblical, and it's after 30 years of doing that, we're like, okay, here's what works. And in regards to money, and then obviously over the past couple of years, bringing in people like John to talk about mental health and other spaces, but still applying that same logic of like, okay, what is, God's and grandma's ways is kind of the tagline of doing life. And that's worked. So one of the things that we talk about a lot that we just get, or I get crap for all the time, is about combining your accounts after you're married. When you get married, you should have one bank account with your spouse.
It's literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard, Rachel.
And just kidding. You sound like everyone on social media.
No, I was trying to be. I was trying to be all of social media just at the same time.
It is like, I mean, again, I can talk about it, the credit score. I can talk about manual underwriting. I can talk about all these things, but this one, it just touches a nerve.
Okay, so I didn't know this was a thing until I joined this team. Like, right, so when I came to hang out here, and I think it was me and you were hanging out. People will create other humans together, and they will not share an account.
Yeah, your genetics are shared by a little child.
We will make a person together, but I'm not letting you have not my fun money. Like, we literally have created somebody or something that could destroy humanity. But you are not touching my paycheck. That's mine.
Oh, man. But the advice is out there. So I saw this on, I shouldn't say I saw it on TikTok, but I don't have TikTok, but someone
James Child is a huge TikTok fan. That's the thing.
That's what it is. Are we going to throw James under the bus? James, the producer, loves TikTok. No. Okay, so this is Kevin O'Leary, Shark Tank, and here's his advice.
I tell women today, do not merge your account with your husband's, ever, in your whole life. He will respect you for having your own money. Let him have his, and set up a third account where you merge your dollars together. There's no reason you have to give up your financial identity when you marry.
No reason to give up your financial identity.
I don't even have.
Okay, here's the. Okay.
I don't even know what to say to that.
I have so many places I want to start.
Okay.
Number one, let's just do this. Real life, Rachel. We were out to dinner with two couples that we know, and both women work, and so they're a dual income family. And both of the guys, one of the girls, she pulled back from work, right? She's like, I'm pulling back. So she's home with the kids, and they have school-age kids, and she's just home. And he's kind of like, and she says, I feel like I'm missing something for contributing to the household, because we hear that a lot.
All the time.
Contributing to the household, and he's kind of giving her a hard time because he's like, you have a great brain. Like, you could use the brain and make money,
right.
This whole thing. And so there is this position when you are married and a wife and a husband and you're there and you're talking about money, lots of different perspectives, right, that you can go into. But when it comes to just sharing the account, like just the like we're just going to go baseline, that all of your money goes into one account.
Right.
Why would you not? Except for if there's an abusive situation, if there's a divorce on the horizon, and
or you've got to create a pocket for safety, right?
Yes, yes. But for majority of couples out there functioning just in marriage and they're just living their lives.
So what I take from that call is this. I want to get married to somebody. I want join lives together, but I want to stay completely and totally autonomous and still be quote unquote just me. And then I'm going to be me, you be you, and then we'll do this together thing on the side. Or maybe we'll do it in the middle, but I'll be me on the side and you be you on the side. And so I'm going to keep my loan identity here. You keep your loan identity here.
Yep.
And what that is called is a corporation. That's a business arrangement.
Yes.
I'm going to go to my house, you go to your house, you go to your side of the bed, and then we'll do this job together. And that's not marriage.
No. And it's more, back to the other call we had on the last segment. There's a vulnerability to say, I'm going to give everything to you.
Yes.
And we're going to go in this marriage together, and we are going to be one in every aspect.
And so let me push back on this. And again, clearly a super successful financial person. I have never heard a man say, you know what, I would really respect my wife if she were less connected with me and more independent. And you don't hear that kind of language. You hear the opposite. I feel completely and totally alone in a bed I share with my partner.
Yes.
I feel completely and totally alone at dinner with my wife and kids or my husband and kids because we are not unified in what we're doing in our lives.
Like the connection point of where we are as a state relationally.
Yes.
Should say something.
Exactly.
That what we're doing as a world with marriage it's not working.
Yeah.
So let's just do the opposite of what the world's doing, and then maybe,
George.
AKA, unite. But no, and so I like put. Oh yeah, so I'm trying to find them real quick. But all the comments, just all the comments, like doesn't work if someone has bad spending habits. I totally disagree, Rachel. This is unbelievable advice. I told you. Oh my gosh, I don't agree. We had joint accounts at first, and then he just kept spending and spending. Then my kids and I couldn't eat. Didn't have money for food. Yeah. So we separated. So again, there are issues that people have, but money is not the reason. Oh, someone's like, I splurged and got a prenup, so now everything is separate. This feels much better for me in our marriage. We could go on and on and on. But like there's just this idea that if there are issues in the marriage, right? He is spending everything and won't go to therapy, or you feel like you have a level of your identity still that it just feels safer over here if I just keep this stuff and you go there, right? Like all of that. That's not a money issue. Like those are marriage issues. Absolutely. And it's coming out as a money issue that we won't share accounts.
Right.
But it's indicating something deeper.
Yes.
Of what's going on in the marriage.
Absolutely. And money becomes the proxy. And so if I'm talking to a couple who's considering getting married and they won't share accounts, the issue is less about the function of a checking account.
Right.
It's more, this will never work if you go in with a wall built. And he goes in with a wall built and you try to build a community together. It will not work. You have to decide. It's the vulnerability. I'm going to open up the drawbridge. I'm going to open up the gates here, and we're going to both leave, and we're going to go create something new together. And God almighty, dude, the simplest thing is to throw all your money in the same account. Right?
Yeah.
If you can't figure that out, think long and hard about getting married. If you are married to somebody who is prohibiting you and your children from eating, that is abuse.
Yeah.
Right? Go get help. Make a phone call. That's not about sharing a checking account together. That's about abuse.
Yes.
Right? That is a totally different proposition.
Because there are situations like that.
Absolutely.
That we're not just like blindly, regardless of anything. No. If there's major dysfunction in the household and you have to protect yourself for a reason, again, huge marriage issue there, but there's ways to protect it, yes, with your money. Because on the flip side, the positive of when you join your accounts together as a couple that we have found is that when you do something together, like money, that's something that is just hard in life, and figuring out money or walking the baby steps, getting out of debt, like this is not easy stuff. You really have to be intentional and work at it. But when you have a spouse next to you and you guys lock arms and you see yourselves as a team and you say, we're in this together, not only do I think that you achieve your financial goals so much faster when it's that mentality, like we are in this together and we're running the same race, but something happens. There's a level of just excitement and sacrifice. All of that you do together.
Think about the basketball player that says, I don't care about y'all. I'm going to get my 30 points a game. That team's not going to win.
Yep.
Right? It's when they all say, we're in this together. We're going to all give. We're going to all pass. We're going to all shoot the ball. We're going to all play defense so that we all win.
Yes.
Right? In the same way it works in marriage.
And in a very kind of shallow way, too, the connection point is there because you end up talking about everything.
You have to talk about everything.
About it. So you're talking, you're communicating, which is a point of connection. So it's good. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. All right, up next is Shannon from Detroit. Hey, Shannon, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. How can we help?
So I am in analysis paralysis with some special circumstances. During college, I kind of had what I refer to as a mental breakdown because I don't know what else to call it. But my anxiety and depression got worse, and then COVID happened, and I started getting agoraphobia. So luckily, I've been able to talk to some professionals that have helped me, and I'm actually now able to have a part-time job so I can start making some money.
Way to go. So you're able to leave home?
Yes, now I am.
Way to
especially,
go.
I'm getting. Thank you. Yeah, I'm able to get a service dog in September, so that's really going to help me too.
Hey, that's a hard one. I know I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry, but that's a hard one. I want to celebrate that with you. Is that cool?
Thank you. Yes.
That's tough, man, especially on the back end of COVID, getting out. And, yeah, we weaponized each other during that season, and so good for you. I'm proud of you.
Definitely. Thank you so
sorry for
much.
interrupting you. Go ahead.
No, you're good. So I have, since getting the service dog, I have a huge unexpected cost. And since I'm only able to work part-time for now, I don't know how to come up with that cost. My parents got like a huge bonus this past year, so they offered to pay for it in cash and then just had me pay it later. But I didn't know, I don't know what to do first. I know I have the $1,000 emergency fund, but do I pay them back to get my debt cleared because I won't have any student debt? Or do I continue saving to rent somewhere or have a house? I don't know what to start with.
Okay. So is the big expense, though, you said at the beginning of this, the dog, the service dog, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So how much is that going to be?
It's going to be $16,200.
$16,000. Okay. What debt do you have right now, Shannon?
I have just $1,500 left from my last class this fall, but I have enough cash to pay for that ahead of time.
Okay. So there's no credit cards or car loans or anything?
No, I actually was introduced to you guys before I even started high school, so I tried to work before then, and then my parents had saved up money for me. So
that's awesome. How old are you, Shannon?
22.
22. Okay, very cool. Okay, are you at home right now, living at home?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
And so you're looking to move out, kind of start your life, and be an adult,
Definitely.
right? That you're just, you're ready to leave the nest, which is awesome. So do you have any money saved?
After I graduate, I get money that my parents had set aside for me. So between like working before I got this job and that, I'll have like $10,000 after I graduate.
Great. And the service dog is coming in, you said September?
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay. So you have about, 3 months or so, to come up with $6,000. How much are you making right now?
Right now I'm making $13.50 an hour, and I work like 25 hours a week. So
Okay. So if I were you, I would do priority of what's the most important in my life to be self-sufficient, right? And this dog, to me, is number one. It's even before moving out. Getting this dog in place, because that dog is really going to be the thing that from what I'm hearing you, and John, correct me if I'm wrong too, that's going to help you really be able to work more hours, to be able to live independently and really continue to live life the way you want to as an adult. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
And with your particular response, your particular phobia, your particular anxiety response, running out and getting your own place and immediately re-isolating yourself may be tough right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's how it kind of got worse when I was in college, because I had a roommate, but college was like 2-3 hours away from my family who I was really close to. So it felt like I was isolating myself.
So I would love to, like Rachel's saying, I'd love you to do this in the right order, which sounds like I'm going to delay moving out from home for 6 months or 7 months, and I'm going to sit down with mom and dad, and we're going to write this down together. So they're on the same page, I'm on the same page, we're all good. And think of it less like this dog is not like a car, right? They're not buying you a thing. They are participating in your health, right? They're helping with think of it like more of a medical payment than they're buying you a new bicycle or something, okay? And so we're going to get this relationship with this dog, and those things are magical, by the way. I've seen some really remarkable turnarounds with folks. I'm going to get really comfortable with this dog, and then I'm going to, in this season, I'm going to start, I'm going to spread out my work hours, and I'm going to start leaning into that anxious discomfort, okay? And your counselor is probably working with you on that. Is that right?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So we're going to end up short-circuiting that anxiety response. We're going to keep leaning into that, and we're going to have this dog, and we're going to have mom and dad at home. And that sounds like that's a good place. It's not a they're not a part of the problem, right? And so then in 6 months, 9 months, you're going to look up. This dog's going to be fully grown. You're going to be debt-free. You can figure out the payment with you and your parents on this thing. Maybe you pay $10,000 of it. They pay the other $6,000 or something. They're willing to help you out. Then you've saved up money. Now you're working full-time. You've got a full-time partner with this dog, and then you're ready to go get an apartment. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you can just head right out, right?
Yeah, there's the urgency. I don't want you to have to feel right now, Shannon, because there is no urgency. Besides the dog and getting that dog in September, but besides that, all the other stuff, even if you paused and you waited 9 months, if you waited till next summer, even if it was 12 months, and you said, hey, next May, my goal is to be on my own, all of that, I think there'd be more harm to the urgency of doing things out of order versus just tapping the brakes and you're good and to continue to heal. But on a kind of a tactical side, Shannon, I would challenge you just on what your job is. I mean, you're making $13.50 an hour, and there's a lot of places that are paying 20, even up to 25, maybe with the skill set that you have. And so I would just, even just in the next week or two, just look around and say, okay, is there anything that can just up that? Because even getting a $7 an hour raise is going to significantly help you over the course of these months as you're saving up for the dog. And then, and again, I don't want to put too much on you, but if you're trying to think, okay, how can I get money as quickly as possible for this big expense that's the dog that's going to help me so much in life? I've heard, John, so many people doing things from home.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Like there's, I don't know if there's a job that you can pick up for like 2 hours in the evenings on your computer, and you can make just a little bit more money there. And again, some of this feels like a drop in the bucket when you're like $16,000, but over time, do the math, map it out, and say, okay, what can I do in the short term that's not going to just damage who I am, but really be able to help in my healing and give me a little bit of the confidence. There'll be a confidence boost, a dignity that you're going to have, Shannon, when you say, wow, I went and did this. Like, I saved up this and all of it. And the fact that your parents are there willing to help you, I think, is amazing. And if they're able to gift you any of that money toward the dog, and you can kind of figure that out, that's awesome too. But that tactically, I would say, yes, your $1,000 emergency fund is really key, but this dog is going to be like number one. So saving towards that as soon as possible, I think, is huge.
Good for you. Proud of you.
It's awesome, Shannon. So great. Man, I feel like in your line of work, seeing what COVID did and the shutdown, like did more stuff spiked, right? I mean, everything that I've seen with like whether it's depression, anxiety, all of it. Yeah, it seems like there was a time when that we're still feeling the effects, right?
Yeah,
a ripple effect of it.
I think we've got a 100-year turnaround, and not to be pessimistic, but somebody asked me on an interview a few months ago, did I think this was worse than the 9/11 tragedy? And I said yes, because after 9/11, we had a common thing we could point at. They were trying to get us. And for this one, what got weaponized was each other.
Oh, interesting.
And so we got to reconnect with one another.
Yes. That's great. All right, thanks for listening to this hour of The Ramsey Show. Thanks to Kelly, James, Ben, Zach, Andrew, Austin, everyone in the booth. I went down my list.
That's impressive.
Thank you, John. Thank you for hosting with me.
You're welcome.
This is The Ramsey Show. Hey, it's Rachel Cruz, co-host on The Ramsey Show. If you want to do your debt-free scream live on the show, visit RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream. We'd love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story. That's RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I am Ramsey personality Rachel Cruz. Here with me today, Dr. John Deloney, taking your calls this hour about your life, your money, your marriage, your relationships, your career, anything and everything. We are here for you. It's a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225. So to start us off this hour is Paul in Cincinnati. Hey, Paul, welcome to the show.
Hey, John and Rachel. Thank you. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing great. How are you, Paul?
I'm feeling pretty stressed and torn with a family and money situation. I was hoping to get your thoughts and advice on it.
Yeah, we'd love to help. What's going on?
Okay. So I'm wondering if I should quit my side job to spend that time instead with my wife and newborn baby girl, or should I keep working the side job, considering we just started baby step 2 this week, and we have about $245,000 in debt.
Ooh, what's it in?
128 of that is mortgage, and the rest is student loans, personal loans, car loans, credit card.
Okay.
All the fun stuff.
Yep. Okay, real quick, will you break down all the debt, not including the mortgage, but do you have the numbers for credit card,
yes.
All that? Okay.
So
shoot off.
Yeah, I've got about $1,800 in credit card. We have $3,250 to a personal loan, about $3,500 left on a car. Student loan for my wife is about $11,000. A HVAC home improvement loan for about $12,000. A Parent Plus loan that I agreed to pay back for my mom, that's $16,000, and then my student loans are about $70,000.
Wow. You got a little bit of everything, Paul. Nice little variety
What
there.
do you do for a living, man?
I am a manager at a nonprofit that provides free clothing boutique for foster children.
Oh, that's awesome. And how much do you make a year doing that?
I make a little over $45,000, and then my wife is a third grade teacher. She makes about $67,000.
Okay.
Is she going to go back?
She is back, and she's also in grad school to be a school counselor.
Okay. Are y'all cash flowing that?
Which we're cash flowing.
Okay.
Cash flowing.
Okay.
Awesome.
So the side job was to kind of help pay for the cash flowing of the grad school and the added cost of childcare.
Okay.
So when I started, it was actually pretty decent paying, but my side job is I'm a custodian at a local gym, and now that I know how to do everything and it doesn't take me nearly as long, it just doesn't pay as much because it's hourly.
Okay.
Gotcha.
But you're using that side gig money, from what you said, for childcare. in grad school. So is that money already, is there anything extra that you have that's going to the debt, or is that all of that money from the side gig going to?
Yeah. With the budgeting, we realized that we could essentially live on just one income, and we were just kind of living in that stupid where we just were spending money that we didn't have on things that we didn't need.
Yeah.
So we're able to pay toward our snowball, but I don't want to make it last any longer. From the math, I'm like, it's already going to take 5 years.
What's your degree in? What's your degree in, Paul?
I have a bachelor's in family studies.
Okay. So, Rachel, can I hop in here?
Oh, please do. Yeah.
Okay, Paul, I'm going to just cut to the chase. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay. You're broke, and you're scary broke. Okay. I know you know that, but I want to say it that starkly. You're going to have to get a job. The place you work at right now is an extraordinary mission, and it's like you being there is a gift to the people that you serve. And you are in a financial position that you cannot afford to do that type of work right now.
And support your family by doing that.
You have an emergency. Your house is on fire. And inside your house, having a Bible study or cooking food for the homeless would be great. But right now, your house is on fire. You need to get out of the house. Okay?
Okay.
You're going to have to find work where you can get this stuff paid off fast. It might mean that we're going to pause grad school for a minute because the house is on fire. It might mean that I'm going to stop doing this part-time job here, and I'm going to get a full-time job making $60,000, and then I'm going to go work the late shift from 5 p.m. till 11:30 at McDonald's and make $20 an hour on a sign I saw the other day. I'm going to work like crazy for 20 months, 24 months, and we're going to get this thing knocked out so that I can spend tons of time, full presence, no anxiety, no anxiousness, it's all coming down. The next time you have a air conditioner fail, it's going to be annoying, not a loan, a HELOC, and then you're going to be able to breathe around your baby. That's what I'm suggesting, okay?
Yeah.
That's the level of radical life transformation your baby deserves, you deserve, your wife deserves, your marriage deserves, everybody does.
I mean,
sorry.
No. It's it because the math. When you just look at the math, right? John does a great job bringing in the reality of the emotional state and what's going on inside of you. But also, Paul, the numbers. You guys just have a small shovel with a really big hole is kind of what it is, right? So I'm just like, how can we fill in this hole of debt faster, more efficiently for you and your family? Because that's who I want you taking care of first and foremost, before anyone else. And whether it's, foster care, adoption, homelessness, human trafficking, all of these things in the world, when we can plug ourselves into those things and make the world better, we are all for, but not at the detriment
we got to get our house
of your
first.
family first and foremost.
Sure.
So even if it's for 18 months that you go and work a job that you're like, oh, I hate this, but it's paying a ton and I'm sacrificing what I love and what my mission is for the moment, just to clear all this out and wipe it out. Then I get to actually, what John was saying, I get to breathe and be like, okay, we have margin. I have margin in my life now. And so, I can take a pay cut and go work somewhere that I really feel called to, because I actually can. I can do that and take care of my family. But the quickest way you're going to change this scenario, Paul, really is the income side, getting it up in the side gig. If there's something that pays more, or you can do it quickly for 2 hours, and you go over to another side gig. And I know your initial question though was, do I keep all of that or spend time with my family? And I think it can be both. I think that, yes, you are in the middle of sacrifice right now, time-wise, to clean up this financial hole that you guys are in by knocking out these debts. And these are some small debts. That's why I loved it. Like the credit card debt, you're going to pay that off. You're going to stay motivated. And from someone whose dad and parents, my dad worked all the time when I was little, all the time, Paul, doing all of this stuff. But I never felt like I had an absent dad because when he was around, he was present.
He's fully with you.
Fully with me. So I think you can still be a great dad and work your tail off for 18 to 24 months to clear this debt out. But I appreciate your call. I appreciate the work that you do and what's on your heart because it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com.
Like there's so many rumors and just panic around the real estate market right now.
There's one truth. It's all coming down, Rachel.
People think it's going to crash and the Great Depression is coming. And it's just, there's a lot of feelings, a lot of emotion around this topic, a lot of opinions around this topic. So next week, we're going to do a free live stream called the Real Estate Reality Check. So it's a one-night event. It's Dave Ramsey, myself, and George Camel. We're going to break down the real estate market and how it actually works so you can figure out how to navigate it yourself instead of listening to all these people from social media and the news and all of this that have this opinion. We're actually going to look at facts, figures, numbers. I mean, we're going to kind of it's going to feel like a real estate 101 class in college. Like we're going to get into the details because it's really important to have facts and knowledge versus just hype and emotion and people freaking out. So we're going to look at data and talk about, hey, what does it look like realistically for you out there? So make sure that you check it out. It's going to be, again, next Thursday, July 14th, the Real Estate Reality Check. And you can register for free right now and get all of the answers that you need to make confident decisions. So go to RamseySolutions.com/reality check. That's RamseySolutions.com/reality check. Find out for yourself why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promo codes they run every month, you'll save even more. Use promo code Ramsey to get the best deal.
All right, today's question comes from Abby in North Dakota. Abby writes, my husband and I are 32 years old, and we have a home worth $400,000. The mortgage is $900 a month with 9 years remaining. My husband has epilepsy and has been unable to work for 2 years. I bought the property and have been the sole breadwinner during our marriage. He's worked on and off at so many jobs I've lost count. I would like to start a family soon, but he wants to sell everything and live in a van for 4 years. I wonder if he wants to go down by the river. I don't want to start over from zero, and it seems easy for him to throw everything away when he's not the one who worked for it. He says he does not want to die having never had the chance to travel, but that he won't do it without me. Do I sell it all and lose my dream of a stable home, or do I tell him no and live under the weight of his disappointment?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's
Abby.
a mess.
Yeah, I'd be in a stable home and living under the weight of my husband's disappointment.
That's the most Rachel thing I've heard. Yeah, you can just go be disappointed, husband. I'm living in my house.
I will take the emotional toll and have a roof.
Yes.
And not a van, no. And again, people live this life. This is the thing. People go and get school buses and they retro them out.
Watch a lot of YouTubes.
They do it. Yep. And it's the thing that they love to do. And I think if both of you if that was the thing you love to do and you're like, you know what, we're going to just travel the country in our van, in our bus, and live the life. Work, yeah, I mean, it's fine. Find some Wi-Fi and you can work and take your computer and it'll be great. But if it's not both of your dreams, it turns into a disaster.
Yes. Okay, I want to work through this backwards. Anytime you're in a marriage and you back yourself into a corner and you create an either-or situation outside of an abusive situation, either I stay abused or I leave the abuse, right? That's an either-or. Short of that, do I sell it all and lose my dream, or do I crush my husband who's dying of epilepsy? You've painted yourself in a corner where it's either a grenade or a nuclear bomb, and I got to pick because one of us is blown up.
It is, yeah. This is the only two options in the entire world,
yes,
John,
that's it.
that we have.
Always, and this goes for anybody who's in a relationship with anybody for anything. Do I have to stay and be miserable forever, or do I quit this job and then go be home? Let's try a third option, or maybe a fourth. Let's look for them, right? So don't back yourself into a corner here. There's other options here. The second thing is, y'all have not, as a couple, dealt with epilepsy. And what that means, you have a world, Abby, that you've created that you want your marriage to look like, you want your home to look like, you have a picture of a family in your house, and you have a husband with a debilitating neurological condition. On the other side, he has a picture of his life where he feels like he's dying, and I can't tell if this is terminal or what, but let's assume that it's not. He's created a picture of living in a van down by the river. And let's sell it all. Let's go get it. What happens when you both had different pictures of what your life is going to look like? You start using language like yours and mine, and his and mine, and I did this and he didn't do that. And all of a sudden you're sharing a bed with somebody and you're a foot apart from them, but you're 5,000 miles away from each other, right? You're way on the other side of the world. This is not a finance conversation. This is not a do we live in a van or in a house conversation. This is coming to terms with this is our marriage and this is what our life is. And when we recognize what it is, then we can decide what this marriage could become together, right?
Yep.
Abby, you have to decide if you want to be married to a man with epilepsy who is unable to work, point blank. And he has to decide if he's going to continue to be married to you. And your money is y'all's money, and y'all's home is y'all's home, right? All of this stuff is we're doing this together.
Yep.
Right.
And that's the big picture. And then, tactically, as you live life out, like what are ways to kind of scratch that itch of him wanting to travel? Mm-hmm. Do you go get an RV and go for a week? Like there are still those options in between.
Multiple options.
Doesn't mean that you can never, ever, ever travel,
right.
Or doesn't mean you could never, ever have kids. Like you guys, there's a medium ground here to get to.
Lots of median of roads in the middle ground.
Through that, yes, on the tactical side as well. So good. All right, up next is Zach from Dodge City. Hey, Zach, welcome to the show.
Hey, good afternoon, Rachel and John. Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely. How can we help?
I'm just looking for a little bit of insight on a life/financial kind of situation my wife and I are coming up on. I've accepted a new position with my current company that's going to be moving us across the country. And so just kind of looking for some insight on if we should sell our house or not. We've been remotely managing it with Airbnb for about the past 6 to 7 months as I've been traveling. But now we're going to be settling down a little bit more permanently. I'm just kind of looking for some insight on whether we should sell the house and try to buy one where we're moving, whether we should rent. The rent's really high, the area we're moving, or maybe live in a camper. Even we have a camper currently. So that's what I'm looking for.
Okay. Where are you guys moving to?
The Idaho Falls area.
Okay. Very cool. So if I woke up in your shoes, Zach, I could tell you what I would lean towards doing and what I would do. I would sell your house where you guys are. I would not continue to be a long-distance landlord. It just ends up being a hassle, and you could still get your real estate dreams somewhere else close by. So I would sell your house, and then I would rent for a year. I'm always a fan of renting at least for a year. If you're somewhere new, if you're in a new area, or if you've had a big life change, right? Like if you've just gotten married or something like that, because renting it, you're just in it for that year, and you're not having to like make one of the largest financial decisions of your life, which is buying a house for majority of people. And so you're able to say, okay, we can kind of look at the area, we can figure out what we like, what we don't like. This is kind of what our family's being settled into. And then that even gives you some bandwidth to even save too, that you're not attached to if the heating and air goes out, taking care of, the issues that a house comes with. You're not going to have that as a renter. The landlord will take care of that. So there's just a little less responsibility moving to a new city when you're renting. So I like the idea of renting or living if you guys want to live in your camper, you could totally do that if you're comfortable doing that. But I would do that and then look up in a year after you've moved and say, okay, what do we want to do? Do we want to buy? Do we want to,
Here's
area?
The question I would ask is, if you lived in Idaho Falls, would you get out do an internet search and buy a rental property in Dodge City, Kansas to manage? That would be
probably not. I'm actually in Dodge City for work.
Okay.
And so it's kind of probably not.
Like you wouldn't do that, right? You would buy houses around you, right? And so think of it that way. Now that you're leaving, you've got some roots there. It's also tempting Rachel, to hang on to those roots when we've lived somewhere.
Yeah.
I'd say, sell a house, pull up the roots, and go do life elsewhere.
Yep, absolutely. Great call, Zach. Thanks for the question. This is The Ramsey Show.
Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I am Rachel Cruz with Dr. John Deloney hosting today. And up next is Anastasia from Jacksonville, Florida. Hey, Anastasia, welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely. How can we help?
So my question is about how can I protect myself and not compromise my standards in dating relationships?
Great question. Sounds like John, relationship expert John Deloney can help. I got no. Okay.
Is this coming from a particular issue?
Something happened?
Oh yeah.
Tinder, the apps.
So
what's
I
happening?
swiped right and what's the basis of the call?
So I have had some doozies of relationships and marriages. Tried my hardest to do the right thing my whole life, and it just hasn't worked out too well. But I got out of a bad my second marriage, which was another bad marriage last year. I was on track to, and I listen. I'm not kidding. I listen to the podcast like nonstop every day. I have not missed one John Deloney show.
It's clearly not helping. You should maybe listen to a different podcast. I'm not doing very good, Anastasia.
Well, that's the thing. I'm having this cognitive dissonance between what I know I need to do and what I actually do.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I met someone. I fell for him, right? Stealing. But I had these deal breakers up front. I've caved on like most of them or whatever. And I just don't know how it is that I keep falling in this trap of not like holding my boundaries in order to like either. Yeah.
What happened in your last marriage? Like in one sentence, what happened?
Got married for the wrong reasons, and there was a lot of
What does that mean?
Happened.
For money, good looks, he was a great kisser. Like, why'd you get married?
Basically, not to go too far into it, but there was some lying based on they didn't share things about themselves before we got married, and we were kind of, you know, not head over heels or anything, but we were going to try it. But there was some deal breakers that happened, and I had to leave for my mental health.
Okay. Ultimately, you've probably heard the saying, we marry our unfinished business. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
The things that we need to work in ourselves, we often subconsciously look to have that puzzle piece met through somebody else. And the problem is they are doing the same thing with us. And we get together and we create a dance and we realize that no external entity can fill up a hole that's inside of us. And then it implodes. And then we go do it again. And we go do it again. And then we go do it again. And until you decide that you and you alone have intrinsic value from the inside out and begin living that way, you create an identity that says, Anastasia has value. Not only the way I quote unquote try to do the right thing, but I do the right thing because it's the most honoring thing to me, because I'm worth the right thing. I'm worth taking care of my body. I'm worth being a steward of my mental health. I'm worth great relationships where I can laugh and be safe. I'm worth those things. That's why I do the quote unquote right things. Not because the right things are in and of themselves intrinsically the right things, but it's because they work, right? They make our lives better. And so I'm going to do these things because I have value. And then I'm going to meet somebody, not because like Renee Zellweger and
you complete me.
Tom Cruise across the room, like you complete me. No, you're with me. And together, you and I are going to create something totally new. And that's a completely different proposition. That's not about healing. That's about creation. And that's a different world. See what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, and I thought I was doing that. Like, I thought I was there.
No, but you're still doing it with another person. You're trying to drink the right alcohol to stop being an alcoholic.
Because I finally felt whole, just me. And I finally felt like I was, like, feeling really good and loving myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I felt like I didn't even, and you know.
Yeah, you felt healthy, so then you went and got into another relationship, and then within that relationship, you started compromising your.
Yeah.
And then
yeah,
and then you're thinking, why do I keep doing this? Probably because.
Yeah.
So let me challenge you. Anytime somebody, it's a trigger for me. When somebody says, I started loving myself and feeling good. My next question is, what were you doing differently? Because loving yourself and feeling good is very much in your head. And it's the actions that heal us. Okay? It's the things we do. Mm-hmm. And we can get some space from rage, and we can get some space from abuse, and we can get some space from dysfunctional relationships, and our bodies begin to breathe again, and we mistake that for healing.
Mm.
That's not healing. That's just not hurt. That's not affirmatively hurting anymore. I'm not hitting myself with a hammer anymore. That doesn't mean my arm's better. I've got to do something different. Okay? See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so, you had a chance to breathe. You had a chance to smile and laugh a little bit again. You felt good. And then you can start doing the hard stuff, like dealing with the past traumas that I know are there. Like exercising and moving my body and getting with some friends and having some girlfriends that I can just go laugh with and hang out with. And then your body begins to heal, and then you're going to meet somebody. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You just got to decide I'm going to do it in that order.
And then I'm in so deep because I have feelings for this new person, and now I feel like I don't know how to back out of it because I feel like, you know, do I work with them and keep on trying? But I'm having to like all your marriage and money stuff is like not jiving too well with them. And it's like trying to convince them. I'm like, I'm just working too hard here.
Yeah, because in my head, I'm like, relationships are work, but it's not from the front end of trying to put these pieces together and trying to make it like, right?
Yeah.
I'm not the relationship expert, but in my head, I'm like,
exactly right.
it does feel like you're trying to make something work that is not naturally working. There should be a level of something naturally is connecting and that we naturally agree on values.
And you're putting way too much in the wheelbarrows just to getting out of the gate. Just go have fun and go bowling. You know what I mean? Like go enjoy your life. Laugh often. Find joy. Go to a movie.
Without a guy?
Both.
Sure.
But like go with a guy, but it doesn't have to be like, hey, while we're here, are we going to share bank accounts? What is your opinions? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
but eventually she's going to have to ask those questions.
That's right.
And then when that happens and it doesn't jive, then you don't want to compromise.
No, absolutely
the future
not.
Where you're thinking, oh gosh, this really isn't. But she needs to chill a little. Is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Usually, and tell me if I'm wrong, Anastasia. On the back end of multiple relationships that have imploded on you, okay, it's really tempting to try to short circuit the process and get all that crap out up front, so I don't have to go through the pain on the back end.
Mm.
Yeah,
that's right?
exactly what I was trying to do. I was trying to
You can't do it that way, and I hate that for you, but that's just not the way they work. You can't do it. It's like getting you get fired from a job and you get fired from another job, and then you just show up to your third job and you go, I want 4 years of salary right now. Give it to me now, and then I'll work real hard. And they're like, that's not really how that works. You can't do it like that. And it's a recipe for you being frustrated and the person you're dating being like, oh, I just want to go to the movies.
Why does she want my tax returns and my 401k statements?
Can we just go to the movies? Can we go to the movies? I mean, I'll trade you a Ted Lasso for your FPU videos if that's going to mean something. I mean, I'll do it, right? That's what we're talking about. I want you to just take 30% off. Take 40% off and breathe. And I want you to find some people in your life that you can be fully you with, and they're going to challenge you to begin to act differently.
That's good.
Let that confidence grow from the inside out, okay? You're worth it, man. You're worth it.
And so is FPU. Those videos are wonderful, John.
They're great date material. Jeez Louise.
First date.
Don't compromise your values.
I want to binge watch Financial Peace University.
Don't compromise your values.
Todd. This is The Ramsey Show. Back to The Ramsey Show. I am Rachel Cruz with Dr. John Deloney, and it's a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225. Up next on the phones is Drew from Greenville. Hey, Drew, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going?
We're doing great, How can we help?
So I have completed baby step 3.
Nice, congratulations.
And appreciate it. And want to move on to either baby step 3B, or should I do 4, 5, and 6, with baby step 6 being the saving for the house down payment.
Are you guys looking to move? Are y'all wanting to buy a house?
Well, I'm an active duty Marine stationed overseas.
Okay.
And we're going to be there for at least 2 more years.
Thank you for your service.
And then I appreciate it. And when we move back to the States, I'll have about a year left before I retire.
Okay.
And so I didn't know if staying in baby step 3B for 2 years, if that's too long, or should I, do like a year and then go to 4, 5, and 6, or should I just capitalize? Because we make pretty good money living overseas right now.
Mm-hmm.
Should I just capitalize on that 2 years and do the 3B and pretty much knock 3B out of the way? Or what's I'm just looking for y'all's opinion on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you move back to the States in 2 years, you guys you're wanting to buy a home, right? That's probably going to be happening. Is that correct? Yeah.
Or when you move back for 1 year, could you just live on base for 12 more months and then go whenever get a more permanent residence after that? Can then you buy a house then?
Right. Yes, sir. That's what it'll be. So when we move back, it won't be that year before I retire. It won't be where we would like to settle down.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Good. So you're staring down 3 years, right?
Yeah, you got 3 years.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay.
And do you guys know where you want to end up? What part of the country?
Yes, we'd like to end up. Yes, yeah, we'd like to end up in the upstate of South Carolina.
Okay.
Where I'm calling from now, but I guess it depends on what the housing market looks like and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I'm you, Drew, I would save something, and I would kind of look. And again, like you said, we don't know. We don't have a crystal ball. We don't know. But from the facts we've gathered, I think it's gonna look similar probably in 3 years. It'll probably, home values I think will still continue to increase a little bit. I don't think we're not gonna see what we've seen the last 2 years. So if I were you, just kind of for the fun of it, just to get an idea, is just go online and see what's being sold in that area that you guys want to live and what kind of house you're like, okay, this would be ideal for us. Here's how much it is now. What would a 5%, 10%, 15%, 20% down payment look like? How much would that be? And kind of do the math to figure, okay, what if we just saved that, put that in a money market account, didn't touch it, and then start it and then press play on 4, 5, and 6. That's probably what I would do, and I would be curious how fast you guys could save up that down payment.
Yeah, that's what I think. The 2 years, 2 years would put us right at 100,000 that we could probably save.
Okay,
and that would be probably 20%, or more.
Yeah,
based on when we decide to settle down.
So maybe it's even that you save 75,000, so you can go ahead and start 4, 5, and 6. It's kind of whatever you guys feel comfortable with. But anywhere in that range, where you've already done it and you're like, okay, this is how much we can save. This feels like the right amount of down payment for the type of house we're going to want as of what we see right now. And then press play on that 4, 5, and 6.
Are your earnings overseas, are they tax free?
No, we'll still pay tax. Portions of it is based on like the cost of living that they allow us to have.
Sure.
That's tax free, but everything else is taxable.
Okay. And you mentioned the word retirement. Do you have little kids that you're saving for college funds for?
Right now, I am. I have the GI Bill, which is going to probably take care of my daughter. She's the closest one. She's 9, and then my son's 5. But if he's anything like me, he's a knucklehead. He's not going to go. He's not going to go to college. But I'm not going to sell him short. So we're still.
There you go.
That's
it. So here's Rachel. Tell me if I'm wrong on this. It feels like we got 3B, you got 4, 5, and 6, and then there's this magic moment to save, to just crash course a lot of cash over 2 years overseas. Some of it's tax free, some of it's regular. Got your living expenses comped in some areas. This seems like a moment to really just stack up cash, right? And then you come back and really begin to play with reality again.
Of what you want to do,
and that might not be the best way to deal with that.
How old are you, Drew?
Math in public, 30, we'll go with 37.
37, okay. That's good.
There you go.
30, I'll be 37 this year.
Okay.
Well, you've got a 5-year-old that suddenly will be a 7-year-old. It's not like you've got a 16-year-old that's about to be an 18-year-old when it comes to how we're going to deal with college. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And you got the GI Bill, so I might lean that way.
Yeah, just to save. Yeah, you guys just stockpile some cash, and then once you feel good about, even if you hit that 100,000, then you're okay. Maybe we can open up a Roth IRA. That whatever that 1 year.
Or maybe do your Roths both years, but keep on right. So you're doing a little bit of both. But
yeah. I think either way, Drew. I think you guys you're gonna turn out just fine. The situation, because 1 year isn't gonna absolutely implode your retirement. You're gonna be okay even if you didn't fund retirement for these 2 years. But I would save up for that house, that down payment, because that's gonna be that's going to be a wonderful gift when you guys come back to the States and after retirement and after living on base for that year, to be able to press play and put a good down payment on a home is gonna feel great. So yeah, I would save that up for 2 years, and then year 3 during retirement, I would press play on a couple of retirement investing in it. So,
and let me give you this one character note, Drew. Usually when we're talking to people with the character that you have, which is a person of high intentionality, you're talking about a decision you're going to be making right now. It's going to impact you in 3 years. That's how intentional you are. You're thinking 36 months ahead, and you're thinking long-term for your children. You're going to be okay. It's the folks that are thinking 5 minutes down the road, 10 minutes down the road, not 36 months down the road, that we are really concerned about. Say, hey, look out on the plan. So you're nudging at the edge of the margins here, man. You are going to be great.
Yep, you're doing great, Drew. Great job. Thanks again for your service. All right, up next is Liam from Lexington.
We're right up against the clock, so go quick.
Hey, Liam, how can we help?
Hey, I'm a 21-year-old foreman at the moment at my company, and I had the opportunity to go to school at the college I want to go to for almost nothing.
Awesome.
The military's paying for it. I'm in the National Guard.
Wonderful.
Right now, what's that?
I said wonderful. Thank you. Thanks for your service.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my pleasure. But right now, I have a really good paying job. I earn about $25 an hour, and I was just wondering, I'm kind of torn between going to college, which I've wanted to do.
What's the job? What's the career? Where are you going to go study?
Career is business administration with a specialization in project management. That's what I'm doing now. And so in the future, I have the practical side down of the degree, but not the actual
credential.
The credential side of things. So this degree,
Rachel, you and I may disagree. If you were my son, or you were me, or you were my brother, what I would tell you is go to college.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say the same thing.
Go get the degree. This is a remarkable opportunity to get a degree with an extensive ROI attached to it for basically nothing. And it's a school you want to go to. You're going to work hard. You're going to get this stuff knocked out. And $25 an hour is going to be way in your rearview mirror when you combine your tactical knowledge plus this new information you're going to learn. And by the way, go in open-minded because there's a lot you're going to learn, and then you're going to have the credential on top of it, man. I'd tell you to go to college.
Yep, absolutely. Liam, I would say the same thing. I'd go to college. I would do it, and then you're going to come out with a wonderful degree that everyone's looking for project managers. So you're picking a really, really smart degree as well. So great job, Liam.
Don't borrow a penny. Don't borrow a penny.
Yes, go debt-free. All right, that puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. Thanks, Kelly, James, Ben, Zach, Andrew, and Austin, and John Deloney. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's John Deloney, co-host of The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? A lot of those people listen on one of our 600-plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, go to RamseySolutions.com/show.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, this is The Ramsey Show, where we're here to have a conversation about your life and your money. I am Ramsey personality Rachel Cruz on this hour with Dr. John Deloney, and it's a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225.
Your intro is so gentle for a Ramsey show.
Is it? Does it feel like calm and soothing?
Well, Dave's like, live from America.
From America's headquarters.
Rachel's like, hey, everybody.
Live from the headquarters.
Like that Virginia Slim. Grab a wine cooler,
Ramsey Solutions, and we'll talk about your life.
Have a seat.
And your money.
About some things.
Pull up a
it's
chair.
Good. It's just gentle.
Pull up a chair, open your mind and your hearts.
Right. My cortisol is running low to quite low. Yeah,
All
good,
right,
man.
David. David is up next. There's a little spike in the
Let's
drink.
showed you, David. Let's do this.
David from Denver. Hey, welcome to the show, David.
Hi, guys. Fruit of the Spirit is actually gentleness, so I kind of appreciate that.
Oh, David, I'm so glad that you are the call we picked
Look
up
at
for
this
that.
guy.
Did you hear that, John? He appreciates it.
I told you, I love it.
He appreciates it. We talk a lot about a lot of stressful stuff on this show, John. A little
I
gentleness doesn't hurt anyone.
I love it.
All right, David, how can we help?
So I was in a marriage for 10 years, and then my wife left, and it's kind of crazy. In my grief, I rushed into another relationship. My new girlfriend is pregnant, and we're trying to figure out the best way to merge families now. I was on my way to getting out of debt. I was paying off, and I was doing a lot of things now. But now, with the choice of joining the families and everything that's going on, I just want to know what's best to prepare. Because she lives in New York, and I actually live here in Denver, Colorado. So,
how's that? Okay. What do y'all think? Are y'all going to get married, or are you like, no, not that, but we're going to have the kid?
I do. No, I do want to, like...
Okay, hold on real quick, David. You're using a lot of cryptic language and kind of bouncing around. Like, everybody's grown up here. Just shoot it straight. Like, you live in this town, your girlfriend's pregnant, and now y'all are thinking about what? What comes next?
Yeah, we're going to merge our family.
What does that mean? What does that mean? That you merge companies. What are you doing with your families? Y'all getting married?
Yeah, we want to get married.
Okay.
And, be a family, just one family.
Okay. All right.
So is she coming to Denver, or are you going to go to New York?
I really want her to come to Denver. My daughter, I have a daughter too, so she's here. And, but she has her doubts. She lives, she wants me to come to New York. The cost of living is lower in New York, but I find that even though the cost of living is higher here in Colorado, they pay more, to compensate for the inflation. So I'm the only one working. She does not work. She does have savings saved up, and I'm actually in debt trying to get out.
Everything okay back there? David? Okay. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I apologize about that. Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, you're good. No worries. Okay. So what do you need help from us? You're calling the Ramsey Show. What do you need?
So I just want to I want some insight on how to best prepare for joining a family.
Brother, y'all aren't even close to that. You're not even near that right now. She hasn't. Y'all haven't even agreed to be in the same community together, in the same state together, on the same side of the country together. Okay. How do you combine families? At least we got to get in the same zip code. And so if I'm you, I'm getting on a plane and I'm gonna go fly down and sit in a room and have a very grown-up adult conversation with somebody that I just created a life with. And we're going to talk about what's next. We're not going to talk about savings accounts yet. We're going to talk about what's next. Who's going to change their life? Everybody's life's different now. Everybody's life's different. Is she going to move to Colorado with you? I don't care about the cost of living and how much
inflation.
Is she going to move with you so that you can be by your daughter, because your daughter's not going to leave Colorado? Or are you going to pack up and leave your current daughter to go be with your new child? Right? So you see what I'm saying? Like, we have to have some very basic nuts and bolts grown-up conversations. And then we're going to get into I've heard nothing that she's even remotely ready to marry you or merge families with you.
Well, she is, and I'm sorry I left that out.
Okay.
But yeah, mainly she is, and the plan is to live here. I just have some doubts because the cost of living is cheaper over there. But I believe, in terms of resources that God will provide, whatever. But ultimately, the plan is to move her down here.
Does she have other kids, David? Is she going to be leaving kids there, or will she?
She's not. She will not be leaving kids.
They're going to come with her.
Their kids are not involved.
Okay.
No,
and how many kids does she have? I'm just curious.
She has currently 3, and then we're going to have a 4th.
The 4, okay.
So then it'll be 5 of us total.
Yes, and so since you have a daughter there, I could care less what inflation is. I'm going to live in the same, as close to my daughter as I possibly can. I have a 6-year-old. There is no amount of inflation that's going to take me away from my daughter. Okay, so let's consider that problem solved geographically. Okay, and now it's about you figuring out what kind of money is it going to take for you to earn to take care of this family. When it comes to the relationship side, you and your girlfriend, who's soon to be your new wife, are going to have to create something entirely new. You're not blending this family with this one. Y'all are making something totally new. There's going to be pieces of those other families that go with you. Those 3 kids' dad still has a vote in their life, more than likely. Your ex-wife or the mother of your other child has a voice into your life. So there's going to be other people speaking into your new world, but y'all are creating something totally new. And so look at it as an opportunity to completely clear the deck and build something beautiful and new. Okay? The more you try to, this is and bring baggage from it, the more you're gonna. I'm trying to think of the right way to say this.
No, you've said it before to me in kind of a different way of like after 9/11 when the towers, they didn't take the same metal and tried to rebuild the same towers.
That's right.
They got rid of everything and bought something and built something new. So you're building a whole new, and that has to be your mindset, which I think is
we're doing something totally new. Yeah,
absolutely. Thanks for the call, David. Good luck with everything. This is the Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I am Rachel Cruz, hosting today with Dr. John Deloney. All right, up next is Rachel from Kansas City. Hey, Rachel, love your name. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Rachel and Dr. John. How are you guys?
We're doing great.
Sure would have been better if you were named John, but go ahead. Just kidding. Go ahead.
That
What's
was
up?
my parents' second choice.
That's right. Awesome. How can we help?
Well, I was hoping you guys could help me learn some tools to stay motivated on track when completing the baby steps. I'm in baby step number 2. I haven't gotten very far. I've only paid off a couple of small debts. I have my $1,000 emergency fund, but it seems like every time I save up a little bit of money to pay or to start paying off another debt, I somehow convince myself that I need something. So I go out, I spend my money, and then I come home and I'm completely ashamed of myself, scold myself a little bit, and then I move on and say I'll do better next time. And then next time comes, I just do it all over again. And I have 3 little girls at home. My oldest is about to turn 15 this month, and it got me thinking, like, oh, my gosh, she's going to be driving in the year. I really need to get my crap together because I need to set a better example for them. And just hoping that you guys can help me get on track and stay on track.
So I was doing a practicum for one of the cool things about going back to school when I was as an old guy is I had to do a practicum again. I had to be an intern again. And I was doing my internship with this guy named Dr. Michael Gomez, a brilliant child psychologist, and we were working with traumatized kids. And he was about 10, maybe 15 years younger than me. He's just a savant. And we were walking out of a room one day when we were working with a little child who was saying some really abhorrent things, like some really rough things about women. And I happened to have a little boy at the time. And I would ask questions that were cloaked psychology questions. Really, I was just asking, like, this brilliant person, how can I be a better dad, right? And so we were walking from one room to another, and I said, well, what do you tell a little boy so that he'll respect women when he grows up? And he was on to me really fast, and Dr. Gomez said this, and it has stuck with me forever. He said, I don't know, you can tell him whatever you want to. But if you want him to respect women, just know he's watching everything you do. So if you want him to respect women, treat your wife right. And then he just walked into the next room. And I was like, oh, no. And then he popped back out a minute later. And he's like, and make sure you take care of the waitress and tip. I mean, he just started rattling all these things off. And so here's what I'm telling you. Quote, unquote, getting your crap together, or I need to start setting a good example. You've got 15 years that your daughter has absorbed you. All of it. How you respond to challenges, what you do when you get frustrated. It sounds like you spend when you're feeling less than, or when you're feeling frustrated, or whatever.
Yeah.
What we need to do now is have a direct, hard conversation with your 15-year-old that says, I've modeled X. And from this point forward, I'm going to start doing different. I just had one of these with my son about, like, I'm just a kind of a chaotic hurricane of a mess when it comes to just throwing stuff around. And I sat down with him and said, I've modeled for you what poor organizational skills look like, and I'm making a change. And you're going to be uncomfortable during this change because it's going to disrupt the way we do life. But I've let you down as your dad. We just had this conversation a few weeks ago. And then you've got to make some really tactical shifts in how you respond and do your life.
Okay.
Is that fair?
That is fair. Okay. I was playing through it and thinking, like, what is he going to say? What are they going to say to me? And that did not pop up. So I am glad that you surprised me. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think there's something too, Rachel, about having that which I love that John said that, because she's 15. She's 15, so she's 15, but she's also 15. Like she has her head on her. Yeah, she knows what's going on. And there's a level of humility too as a parent to sit down and just kind of say out loud, like, man, I hate that I did that. Yeah. And I hate that this is, X, Y, and Z, that I know that this is my knee-jerk behavior, and this is what you've seen in your life, and I want to do better. Having a parent with that level of humility, there's something that could even change in y'all's relationship, Rachel, with you and your daughter. Like, there's just something beautiful that can happen because you kind of open that door to be like, I'm human too. I'm human too, and I mess up. And presenting that to her is amazing. And then what John said at another call a few segments ago, and then actually doing the action, changing your environment, putting yourself in other situations where you're not taking the money, tactically and going and shopping with it, but versus paying off the debt, like all of that, can get fixed. But that, foundational just shift in your head of knowing that, more is caught than taught. She is going to be watching. All of your kids are going to be watching you, and you can say whatever you want, but those actions, it's huge.
That's it. Why do you spend?
I really feel like my emotions drive my spending. So like when I'm happy, I guess I want to continue the good time, right, and be happier. And then when I'm upset or mad or stressed out, I feel like shopping might make me happy, going to spend money. I think it's very emotionally driven.
So what are some things you could do today that would put some hurdles between your emotional self and your acting self? In counseling, we call it the gap between stimulus and response. I feel this need to keep this thing going, but I know that I got to get up at 6 a.m. and go to work tomorrow. I'm going to have to pay this credit card bill in 28 days. What are some things you could do right now? And you're going to help millions of people by just rattling off one or two that you could put in between your feeling, and that action.
Maybe I could set a rule for myself saying if I feel like
No rules.
No rules?
Too easy. Cancel Amazon Prime today for 30 days.
Okay.
Take your debit card out of your wallet.
Okay.
Take it out.
Oh, those are good.
Just don't carry it with you. Unless you're going to a grocery store and then you're coming home. Make it to where I will have to go ask somebody to borrow money in a bar to keep this thing going, right? Or I'm going to have to reach across the pedal tavern and ask whoever if I can borrow some money, right? Whatever it is you're doing, put some obstacles in front of you, and then bring your daughters along with you. Create a budget, and every week sit down with your daughters. Is Dad around?
I'm remarried, so there's that Dad lives in the home.
Okay, so make it a family affair. We're all in on this, and you're going to have 15-year-olds that can't wait to point out mom's flaws. And so, like, she's going to be like, do we have enough? Is this in the budget? Is this in the budget? Right? So you're going to bring everybody along, but what you're doing is you're creating a hurdle of accountability. You're going to have a lot of eyes. You're going to invite a lot of eyes to be watching your actions, okay? Take some steps. I got to reach out and call. I've done this. I gave my wife my debit card for a season because I was out of control. And I had to call my wife as though she was my mommy because I had to learn to do things differently, right? And it was the long-term play was much more important than my little precious ego and my little precious feelings and emotions in those moments. Is that fair?
Okay. That's fair. And I'm glad you guys brought the humility piece into it. I think that's a huge problem for me as well. I feel like I just want my kids to think that, they have everything that they need. Mommy will get them whatever they want.
Yeah.
And I guess having that conversation with them and being like, look, that's just not the way it works.
Yeah. And Rachel,
hard,
one of the best definitions of humility I've heard is that humility is not thinking less of yourself, but it's thinking of yourself less. So you've been thinking less of yourself when you've messed up and you're beating yourself up. So humility is not, God, I'm this terrible, I screwed up. There's a level of just accountability of, here's what really has happened factually in my life and the choices I've made, and I have to deal with those. But true humility is thinking less of yourself, and that's what you're doing. You're wanting to get out of debt. You're wanting to create a better life for your girls. You told us that on the call. And so demonstrating that humility, that your life, it is less about me and it is more about serving my family. And this is that's going to be the motivation that I'm taking as I'm making these new changes.
So hang on the line, Rachel. We are going to give you Financial Peace University. And we're going to give you EveryDollar app for a year. We're going to give you the whole shebang for you to start with your kids. And you're going to let them watch the videos with you. Y'all going to go through this thing together. And you are going to teach them what humility looks like. And that's going to be a gift that's going to be a legacy changer.
It's great. Great call, Rachel. Thanks for the question. This is The Ramsey Show. So let me ask you a question. When you think of a millionaire, what kind of job do you picture? Is it like this high-powered executive position, like a VP or a CEO? Well, here's the thing. Only 15% of millionaires actually have jobs like that. The reality is the top 5 careers for millionaires in America are engineer, accountant, teacher, manager, and attorney. That's just one of the surprising things that my team found out when we conducted the largest study of millionaires ever done. And they talked to tens of thousands of millionaires to find out who they are and how they achieve that goal. And our study made it clear that to become a millionaire, you've got to invest wisely. And a big part of that is actually getting good investing advice. So you want to work with an investing pro who you can trust and who will walk with you to teach you the options that are right for you. And my team recommends trustworthy, vetted investing pros from all over the country. We call them SmartVestor Pros. So to get in touch with a SmartVestor Pro in your area, go to RamseySolutions.com/SmartVestor Pro and start building wealth today. That's RamseySolutions.com/SmartVestor. All right, up next, we have Garrett in Green Bay. Hey, Garrett, welcome to the show.
Hey.
Hey, Garrett. How can we help?
Just wanted to say, John, I really loved your book. Read through it in like 2 days.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
But my question today is, I had a 401k at my last employer, and I got let go, and that ended up just becoming a rollover IRA. So I'm trying to figure out if I should move it into like a Roth, or if I should pull that money out to pay off my debts. It's about $3,000.
Okay. Yeah, I would not pull it out because you'll be hit with a lot of penalties and taxes there. Yeah, I would just roll it over to a traditional IRA and sit down with we just talked about SmartVestor Pros right before this call, or an investing professional that you trust, and sit down and do that. But I would roll it over to a traditional IRA.
Okay. The only reason I was asking is because I could be debt-free then by next month.
Yeah. How much debt do you have?
We had about 60,000, and we're down to like the last 5,000.
Oh, awesome! Congratulations.
Don't do it.
No, it's not worth it.
I know
it's
it's
still
so
not worth
tempting.
it.
I know it's so tempting. Just don't.
All right. Because then our estimated date is January then.
Or for the next 60 days, go berserker style. Go Uber at night, and when you get off of Ubering, go work the late shift at McDonald's for $15-20 an hour. Like, go berserker for 60 days and get this done.
Oh, my wife would not like that.
You know what she would really like, though, is you to stop being ding-dong, be debt-free. Yes, see? Yeah. Told you. John burned. That's what we say in my house. My kids will go, ooh, Dad burned, Mom burned. Gotcha. So go just say for 60 days, honey, I'm tired of this. I'm going to get it done. We're so close to the end. We're just going to sprint to the end.
And look at your house. Find 5 things to sell on Facebook Marketplace. Bring in an extra couple hundred.
Just be done, man.
Just
be done. Just be done.
You got it, Garrett. I feel it.
You in?
Oh, I put him on hold.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
All right.
Sorry,
That's
Garrett.
cool.
I'm sorry, Garrett.
We're going to have a moment there, but way to go, Rachel.
All right. Up next, we have Dawn in Chicago. Hey, Dawn. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Dr. John and Rachel. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Absolutely. How can we help?
Okay, yeah. First, I want to thank you both. I wouldn't be in the financial situation I am now without your program, so thank you for all you do.
Oh, thank you, Dawn. Well, you did it. You did the work, so congratulations.
Thank you. Okay. Well, unfortunately, I am going through a divorce, and my divorce will be final later this month. And our house is actually selling later this month as well. So it's a crazy time right now. So what I'm trying to figure out is my next step. I work remotely, so I can basically go anywhere. So I'm trying to make a wise decision on what my next step will be as far as my living situation. So I have like 4 different options that I've kind of been looking into, and I'll give you just a brief description of my financial situation as well. I make around $105,000 a year, and after we split everything in half, I'll have about $315,000 in cash, and I'll have about $250,000 between like a 401k and a Roth, and no debt. So that's a little bit of an idea of my financial situation. I'm 48.
Oh, geez. Can I just say I'm sorry? I hate this for you. What a mess.
Yeah.
What a mess.
Yeah.
Do you have
it's
kids,
a really
Dawn?
hard time. Thank you so much. I have one. Actually, this is my second divorce, unfortunately, but she's from my previous marriage, and she's in college. So one, and she's in college. So. Okay.
So that's the financial situation. What's your living options and stuff that you were?
Okay, so I have some different options. So first of all, I was looking into rent, and as we know, rent's very expensive right now. So my family has been very gracious. My sister and my parents both have offered for me to live there, even temporarily, even if it's for a month or two, just to kind of get on my feet and think clearly and figure out where I want to go. Another option I have is I have the potential to be a sorority house director at the university where my daughter attends. And in that position, it's a paid position, and from what I understand, it pays about $2,000 a month, and I would be able to continue my remote position from there, and I get free lodging, free utilities, the food, they have a chef, so food is covered as well. And I've kind of felt like there have been different things that have happened that made me feel like God is pointing me in that direction. But after being in a very controlled marriage, I'm not sure if that's the wisest move.
So Dawn, let me hop in here because we're going to run up against the clock here. First, don't buy a house. Give yourself a minimum of 6 months, preferably a year. Okay.
Okay.
You are 48. You're clearly brilliant and good at what you do. You're making great money, and another grenade went off. Right?
Yeah.
And you're out of your home. You're out of your partnership. You're out of your marriage. You're out of all this stuff. Let some of that smoke clear. Okay. The second thing is, I actually did what you just said. My wife and I and a 2-year-old moved into a residence hall with 170 college men and women. And it was bananas, and it was chaos, and we paid off 6 figures of debt doing it. And so what I tell you is it ended up changing our lives in so many ways because we ended up living smaller, where our houses were getting increasingly bigger, and then this showed us that we could live much smaller. It just changed a lot about our marriage for the better, okay? So if you can handle it and hang, man, go live a wild adventure.
Okay, can I jump in?
Go for it.
Because here's the thing, though, Don. You have no debt. You have $300,000 in cash.
And what I'm saying is it's a place, there's no lease. It's a place just to sit.
Yeah.
So
unless you want to deal with the story. Now, if you're sacrificing to get out of a financial hole and there's a reason, that makes total sense to me.
But she said she feels like she's getting called to this, which I always want to check that. But you feel like this is an adventure?
Saying yes, but in my head, I'm like, listen, or you just go find a great 1-bedroom and it's quiet. I don't know.
Well, see, that's my dilemma. I mean, I feel
well,
like
what do you want to do, Don? Neither one is right or wrong.
I'd be near my daughter.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'd be near my daughter.
Here's what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to go run to the nearest person, and I don't want your daughter to be responsible for your healing.
No. Oh, I totally agree with that.
And so I would steer less from having a purpose and more towards healing and figuring out what comes next. If this is an adventure for you, and it's just like you're the kind of person that's going to go live in a sorority, my wife and I were the kind of people that would go live in a residence hall. That's just who we are. We're just a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
And so if you're a person who is going to go live an adventure, go get it. If you are doing this so you can be by your daughter, and that's starting to make me feel uncomfortable a little bit. I'd rather see you pay an overpriced 1-bedroom apartment for 6 months because you got the money to do it, and then heal, and then figure out what comes next.
It's great. Thanks for the call, Don. Good luck. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day is 1 Timothy 6:6-7. But godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into the world, and we can take nothing out of it. Things turn out best for people who make the best of the way things turn out. John Wooden. It's pretty good.
I like you being in awe as you're reading it.
It was good.
It's like, no way.
That's a great way of saying it, though. Things turn out best for the people who make the best of how things turn out.
Coach Wooden.
You should have said that.
He's the best.
Is he a coach? Yeah. I don't even know who he is.
The greatest coach of all time.
Is he? Sorry, John.
Yes. All right. Hey, you know those moments when you're sitting right next to somebody, but you feel 1,000 miles apart? I'm not talking to you, Rachel, but it does feel that way. Some of you are feeling that way right now. Listen, we've got to put our phones down. We've substituted deep and meaningful conversations for binge-watching Netflix together and scrolling social media. You deserve better relationships, and that means having better conversations. And we have to acknowledge we don't have the skills anymore to do that. That's why I created Questions for Humans. They're conversation starters that will help you disconnect from your screens and actually connect and have fun with the people you care about. We launched the first edition of these cards a few months back, and the first run sold out, the second run sold out, the third run sold out. And they've been flying off the shelves ever since, and people have been asking for more topics, so we took the hint, and now we have new conversation cards. We've added girls' night, guys' night, dating, parents and teens. You should have seen the people in the room working on the girls' night cards. It was a riot.
That's so funny.
Workplace additions to the lineup, and all of them will get you spending time laughing together, learning things unexpected. People have said they're crying together, building deeper and stronger relationships. So pick up 1, 2, or all of the new Questions for Humans conversation starters and start having fun. And you can find them at RamseySolutions.com.
So Courtney, Dexter House, and I, we were doing something, and a few of them were there for the girls' night. So one of the questions was, how long could you survive, like in the wild? Like if you were just out there, how long could you survive? So Courtney was like, I can't remember what she said. 7 hours. And I was like, no. I was like, I can go 4 days. So I was on the air with Dave, and we were talking about Questions for Humans. So I told him that story, and I was like, how long do you think you'd survive, Dave? He's like, till I died. I was like, oh my gosh. He's like, I wouldn't stop living. I would just keep living. I was like, yeah, but if you could like have a buzzer and tap out. He's like, well, I wouldn't. I would just keep living. I was like, you're no fun. So don't play with Dave Ramsey.
But listen, I've traveled with you all over the country.
I could survive.
No chance you can make 4 days.
Yes.
0.
I could.
In the wilderness?
Yes.
Listen, I was in rural Missouri this week, and I have bug bites in places I didn't know you could get bug bites. You could not last 4 days.
I couldn't last in the snow. So don't put me like in Alaska.
Okay, at the right temperature.
Put me at the beach.
At the right temperature, near a mall, you could do 4 days.
Near a mall? Are my 15 years old? Put me near an Amazon fulfillment center, and then we can.
And let me have 4 bars on my cell phone.
Let me.
And a mini fridge.
Then I'm good.
And a sommelier.
I really.
I could do 4 days.
We can figure it out. How long would you survive?
That's probably just figured out.
You're like, I'm just gonna survive all the time. That's what I do.
I could last 36 hours and I'd get sad and I'd probably just keep living out there. I would complain a lot, but it'd be fine.
Yeah, I think I could do it. I can't do rain. There's a couple of
Here's the deal. I'm officially calling that bluff. We'll talk offline about a dollar amount.
I don't want to.
I know, but now you've put it into the universe. I want to see
This is like what? Yeah. And then my other question for you was, when's like the questions for conspiracy theory humans?
Oh, we've got a few coming.
I think y'all should do like a really crazy box of questions.
Oh, we've got friendship enders. If you're with a group of people that you're like, it's like asking about Trump and COVID. It's like ways to make sure that nobody ever invites you back. Hey, listen, we've got you.
I would love it. I think that's fun.
It would be so great.
I can take people on all, whoever you are.
We're going to have a conspiracy theory deck. We're going to have one that's just only about like really hot topic religious issues. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic.
I think you should. I'd buy it. I think it's great. Okay. All right. To the phones. Diana from San Francisco. Hey, Diana. Welcome to the show.
Hey. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Rachel.
Absolutely. How can we help?
I haven't really, I don't have much savings, and I'm 65.
Okay.
But I do have a pension coming to me in about a month, but I need to know, should I put it in my employer-based 401k, start an IRA, or a Roth? It's $208,000. It will be the money that I will actually put down on a house and retire on. I plan on working 5 more years.
Okay. And you said that this is going to be money you're going to put down for a house. Are you looking to move? What's your current living situation?
Yeah, I probably won't stay in California. The house I'm in is a cool California house. It runs about $600,000, so I think that's a little bit expensive for a home. I'll probably move to Arizona and try to buy something closer to $300,000.
Okay.
I do support a disabled child. I have a $500,000 life insurance and trust for her should I pass on. I don't essentially have any bills, but rent, utilities, and food. I've been putting $600 a month into my employer-based 401k, which is matched. And then
what's in that account right now?
Diana?
What's in your 401?
Well, because I just got this, I lost 2 jobs during the COVID crisis, and I've only been at this employer for about 8 months now. There's $5,000 in it.
Okay. And Diane, do you have any debt?
No
debt, and any savings or just this pension that's coming to you? Do you have anything to your name besides that 401k, the $5,000?
No.
Okay. So Diana, what I honestly would suggest you do is sit down with an investment professional, because whenever it comes to this kind of stuff, I just want to make sure that you have what you need to save in the next 5 years, because you said you're going to be working for 5 more years. And with this pension, though, and being able to, because you're getting it in a lump sum, is that correct?
Right.
Okay.
That's correct.
Yeah, which is great, because then you can use that for your advantage. But to look to see, okay, what is the best way to save for your age on taxes to get the even the most growth, because yes, you're 65, but you still could, could have 30 more years to live. So some people would want to put you in something that is less aggressive, but I mean, and again, a SmartVestor Pro or an investment professional that you trust can sit down and really map all of this out, because looking to see what's the best, again, for your age and how much to live off it after 5 years to support you and your child, ideally living off that growth of what's coming. And they'll be able to map out all of that for you to really sit down and look at the details of it. But yeah, my knee jerk is just to make sure that you're putting it in something that you're going to be able to live off of that growth once you fully retire completely in 5 years, and making sure that you do have a good down payment, because I don't want you going into retirement with a huge mortgage either. So I want you to be able to weigh all of those options and to look to see, okay, what's the best place for this money.
I also, Diana, Austin, are we able to do like a session with a financial coach? Go ahead and put her in one. Yes. So Diana, we're gonna
really.
I'm gonna put you in one. I want you to hang on the line, and we're gonna give you a free with one of our financial coaches. Here's the thing: you laid out a few things that I don't see just eyeballing it. The numbers are gonna work out.
Okay.
Being able to go buy a house that's a $300,000 house, and you're going to pull.
Well, I don't necessarily have to buy it, but I'd like to put a large portion down on it.
Right, but if you've got $208,000 to your name, and you're going to put down a big chunk of money towards a house, the math is going to be tough for you, is what I'm saying. So I want you to sit down with one of our coaches and work through your spending plan over the next 5 months.
And your income plan for the next 5 months to see what you can,
That's right.
Diana, I appreciate your call. And
hang on the line here.
And all your intentionality, and what you're doing. So thank you so much. All right. Great hour, John. Great hosting with you. And thanks to Kelly, James, Ben, Zach, Andrew, and Austin. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey, it's Rachel Cruz, co-host on The Ramsey Show. If you want to do your debt-free scream live on the show, visit RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream. We'd love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story. That's RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream.